Honestly, one of my wake-up calls with this is when I was talking about it, and then Asmongold started talking about it, and he said the same things I was saying. And then I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. I may have the wrong opinions about this. I may. And it turns out that, you know, Asmongold is wrong about this. Asmongold is, talking about this subject very loosely, very haphazardly, and when it comes to child abuse, I don't like that. You know, I've decided. So you know, you can call this backtracking, you can call it whatever. I have learned as a person. I learn, I grow. Still, the people who are, like, defending Loli, they are weird and creepy, and they should be called out for it. Because this isn't something that you should defend. This is something that you should dissect.
Okay,
It's weird,
separate
man.
reality versus people that can't. If you aren't, then you aren't a clear thinker. Thinking about the Lolly situation. So the reality, okay, so you don't think that there's any correlation at all? You don't think there's any correlation?
There is a correlation. It just only goes one way. Okay, and this is something that I had to learn because I heard Leaflet talking about this shit, and I kind of went sicko mode, and I mean, let me just speak plainly, okay? Leaflet was talking about how Loli is, like, you know, not at all linked to pedophilia and blah, 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 and I was obviously not liking that very much, right? And I was like, I was pushing back on that idea. And so I started, like, looking into the psychology of it, and my instincts were correct, right? Pedophiles, they like Loli, obviously. Fucking obviously. However, it just doesn't map cleanly the other way. And that's not the same as saying that Loli is okay, right? It's permissible. It's not. And the people that use it need psychiatric evaluation. Okay, I stand by that. I was basically, like, mostly right. And Asmongold is mostly right here. But if you try to say that, like, all people that like Loli are pedophiles, that's actually not necessarily true. And just to be clear, a pedophile is someone who is attracted to children, right? And that was a claim that I was making. I was saying that Loli enjoyers, they are attracted to children across the board. And that just isn't, like, really provable. And the data, excuse me, the data around this that has been, even though it is limited, it's just, contradictory to that idea. You know, so you can speculate about how, like, oh, all Loli enjoyers must watch, Loli because they're attracted to children. But that isn't necessarily true. It just isn't. So, anyway, moving on.
Why do you think that's not true? Video game theory? Yeah, why do you think that? There's no correlation. I thought we were talking about your shirt. That's the same thing. They think that you're calling them all pedos? They're not all pedos, but I bet a lot more pedos like lollies than the average population likes lollies. I'll tell you that. Tell you that, it's obvious. People are really mad about my opinion on this.
No, it's not just most. I mean, basically across the board. Pedophiles that know what lolly is, they like it, right? They use it, right? That's just, that's like universal. Okay, I mean, like, all pedophiles like lolly. Okay, it's just that not all people that like lolly are pedophiles.
It's obvious.
And that's the point that these freaks are making. Okay, it is. And they're trying to say, like, oh, so lolly is okay. Right? And it's not. Right? I disagree with that. Anyway.
Not all is a stretch, it is me, but studies have shown it. Name one. Name one study. I've gone through this before. I know all the examples you're going to give me. I've already looked into it. I know all about it. You misread? Okay.
I would like to hear Asmongold talk about actual data. You want to know something funny? I have never heard Asmongold talk about actual data unless it's like the number of white people in a country, like the white people rate.
No studies have shown it. Well, what do you think? This is the thing, right? People that never think about this, right? You should name one, not him. It's obvious. It's obvious. You literally misread it. He said no studies. Yeah, every lolly is a lover isn't a pedo, but every pedo is a lolly lover. End of argument, chat. I think much more on average. So you see how these people like to fight back and they like to argue about this. It's like, yeah, obviously, if you're attracted to kids in real life, you're going to be more likely to be attracted to anime that sexualizes kids. Like, duh. I mean, what are we even talking about? So this is my exact point, right? Is that
like you are guaranteed. So see, Asmongold is wrong here. He's wrong about that. If you are attracted to children, you are basically guaranteed to like lolly. Obviously, it is across the board. And I don't know why you wouldn't say that, honestly.
That's it. This is a completely rational perspective to have. Shit take? It's not a shit take. Here, I'll look it up. Are pedos more likely to like lollies than sexually than the average person?
This is interesting. It's interesting that he's asking Grok this. And Grok is probably going to say yes, actually, overwhelmingly. That would be my guess. But Grok also may clarify that, you know, blah, 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 everything that I just said. And I assume that because Grok is saying it, Asmongold will agree. Let's find out.
Take a look. Yes, by definition and available evidence, people with pedophilia are significantly more likely to be sexually aroused by lollies than the general population. Evidence from research, surveys of non-offending maps find frequent masturbation to child depictions as an outlet. Exclusive, child-attracted individuals often report higher use of child-themed fantasy materials. Yeah, duh. Duh. I mean, what are we talking?
Wait. Hold on. Okay, here's the thing, okay? And I'm reading this from Asmongold's AI, okay? I'm assuming he's probably gonna skip over this. Or maybe he'll actually read it. I don't know. He's showing it on screen, right? Liking sexualized lolis is a niche fetish, even in anime and hentai communities. Many consumers are not clinical pedophiles. Some cite aesthetics, taboo, moe, cuteness, or OCD-style intrusive worries. Japanese discourse often treats lolis as distinct from real child attraction. Okay, so this is something that I was touching on in the video where I was talking about this with Leaflet, which is where I was like kind of writing off the whole taboo thing, right? But this is a real sexual niche that a lot of people suffer from. And just to be clear, I feel bad for these people. I want them to get help. Okay, I do not think that it is okay that they use this material, but they aren't necessarily pedophiles. And so to say that somebody likes loli, they're definitely a pedophile, that is not accurate. Right? It just isn't. Okay, because there are a litany of other reasons somebody might like loli. Okay, just because most pedophiles like loli doesn't mean that most people that like loli are pedophiles. Okay, that logic don't track. It just don't. The rate is still far higher among pedophilic groups. Non-pedophiles will consume it, are outliers driven by other motivations. That is, you know, calling them outliers, I don't know if there's data to support that. And in fact, when Grok makes this statement, there is no source next to that one. Interesting.
About. Like, I mean, obviously, like, how can you not come to this conclusion?
Okay, he is just going to skip over.
I agree, it makes sense, but it's the same true for violent video games. I'm going to disprove your argument with another argument. If somebody actively consumes child-like sexual abuse material, you would call that person a pedophile. If somebody watches...
You know, honestly, one of my wake-up calls with this is when I was talking about it, and then Asmongold started talking about it, and he said the same things I was saying. And then I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. I may have the wrong opinions about this. I may. And it turns out that, you know, Asmongold is wrong about this. Asmongold is talking about this subject very loosely, very haphazardly. And when it comes to child abuse, I don't like that. You know, I've decided. So you know, you can call this backtracking. You can call it whatever. I have learned as a person. I learn, I grow. Still, the people who are, like, defending loli, they are weird and creepy, and they should be called out for it. Because this isn't something that you should defend. This is something that you should dissect. Okay? That's it. If you're going to talk about this, you shouldn't do what I did before and make, like, blanket statements like people who like use this material are definitely pedophiles all the time, all of them. because that's not helpful, that's not accurate, and again, when it comes to child abuse, like, you know, it's just not right. But this market is problematic. Children are a protected group, and consuming this material isn't like what fucking Leaflet says, which is it's like violent video games. It's nothing like that, because this is we're talking about simulating abuse of a protected group of people, and there's also a black market for this kind of material. It's bad. Okay, it is.
You would not call that person violent. You
It's
actually
fucking
have
crazy.
this exact same
People
double standard
defend
and
this
understanding
shit.
whenever it comes to actual videos and actual content. You would immediately have that conclusion. So the reason and the way that sexuality is derived and people get satisfaction out of sexuality is completely different than the way they do out of playing Grand Theft Auto. The movies isn't real. What does it matter if it's real or not? Think about it. Maybe the double standard's the problem. There is no double standard. There's only a double standard if you create the complete lie that the way that people arrive at their sexuality is the equivalent of the way that people arrive at their entertainment for recreation. These are two fundamentally, profoundly different things, and everybody knows that. So anyway, you're arguing fiction versus nonfiction? Well, again, like, what about cuties?
Yeah, but okay, look, Asmon, this isn't a good argument. Okay, because just because these two things aren't related doesn't mean they aren't comparable. Okay, they aren't related and they're not comparable, but that is because they are fundamentally about different groups of people. In Grand Theft Auto, you simulate murder of ordinary civilians, right? Non-discriminately. You all of the civilians are available for you to murder, and none of them are children, right? You can murder all types of people that are grown adults. Now, if they added children into the mix, I would say that is, you know, like, you shouldn't do that. That should not be in a video game. Simulated child murder is wrong. But it still wouldn't be as wrong as Lolly if those children are mixed in with the adults, right? So they're not, like, the focus of the game isn't on killing children. Okay? It's not like an IDF simulator. What the hell?
How about the Netflix movie Princess? You're playing stupid on purpose in order to misunderstand something.
Alright, sorry about that. I had to see what that was all about. Everything's fine, though. Chocolate Donut says, I thought Loli was illegal. What the fuck? It is illegal in some states, technically, but it's not enforced. So, it's basically not illegal. It's technically illegal. In the same way that being a communist is illegal. Which is just crazy. Which is fucking crazy. But, anyway. Moving on.
I can immediately tell you this. Like, I mean, I don't understand how... So anyway, let me take a step back. We can argue about this. Attraction to children is not a game mechanic. Well, I mean, there's some weird fucking games out there. But, yeah, I played some of these gacha games. But, you know, yeah, you're right. Anyway, I can go back and forth about this. But, yes, obviously.
Aren't we just enabling the behavior of pedos by allowing these? No, I do disagree with that. Yeah. But anyway, it's not that I don't think it is, like, wrong, and I don't know how long you've been in chat, Donut, but, Lolly is wrong. It's bad. People that use it need psychiatric help. Okay? But in the past, in my videos, I have been kind of fast and loose when talking about this, and I've been quick to label, you know, this kind of usage of lolly material as something that it really isn't. And you know, I want to be more careful when talking about it, because we are talking about, like, abuse of children and material depicting CSAM, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But Asmongold, I don't know if you were here for this, but my wake-up call was when fucking Asmongold was talking about this, and he was, like, verbatim saying the same shit that I was saying. I don't know much about Lolly. Also, I always thought I was a black sheep because I always been attracted to older peeps, but even when I was a kid. I don't really understand the attraction of kids, teens, hell, even if someone was 18. Yeah, I mean, I hear you there, but anyway, people that like Lolly are not necessarily attracted to children. Okay, and that may sound weird, but, and believe me, I thought it was too, but, you know, it is an actual thing. Okay, there is some evidence that psychiatrists, although it's limited, that psychiatrists have, delved into. And the logic is sound, okay? I agree with their findings, their research. I agree with the research about this shit. I trust the science. I'm sorry, I hate what I write. Yes, I type like a dumbass, sorry. No, man, it's good. It's all good. But, anyway. Basically, pedophiles across the board, they like lolly. They like that. Because they're pedophiles. But not all people that like lolly are pedophiles. And the reason that this is important to distinguish is because that means the treatment is different. But what is the point of it being public to the world? It's not like watching lolly is family friendly. Why even have it? Are you asking me why it is not like banned? Is that what you're asking me? Because we can't even ban actual child sexual abuse material. It should be banned. I disagree. I disagree with that. That's not going to, because I'm pragmatic, okay? I'm a pragmatic person, right? If your solution to a problem doesn't fix the problem, then I don't like it, okay? Okay, would you watch it? No. No, I would not. But, I don't think that we should ban it, because that doesn't fix the problem. We have banned CSAM, child sexual abuse material, and people still procure it through a variety of methods. Even if we banned it, lolly that is, people would still get it. It just wouldn't be open. It wouldn't be public. That's it. You have to address the why people are like this and how we can help them as a society, as a people. So how do we cure pedos? That is a really interesting question. And it is not one that you should ask me, because I don't, look, I don't have all the answers, okay? I will tell you what doesn't cure pedos, locking them up in prison. Because prison doesn't reform anybody, because that's not what it's about. So I am in favor of prison reform. I am in favor of, entirely different punishment mechanisms for pretty much all crimes, including pedophilia. You seem to have a lot of knowledge for a 24-year-old. I think you have the answer. I do not, okay? I don't think that, I think that locking them up is better than doing nothing. Okay, because at least when they're in prison, they cannot harm children. Okay, so that is, in its present form, I guess, I'm never going to say that it is, like, an adequate solution to the problem. It's not. Okay, what we do to pedophiles today, in the today time, is not at all what I want. I want them to get professional help from like, psychiatrist or neurologist or something. I don't know. Something's wrong with their brain, man.
Use fictional sexual materials, including cartoons, depicting children. Yes, obviously, child pornography offenders, real or virtual, show higher diagnosed pedophilic interest than general populations. Fictional variants a lot.
Is it a mental illness? They know it's wrong and yet still have no control or morals. Well, yeah, it's because they are attracted to them. Okay, in the same way that you and I are attracted to normal adult people, okay, they are attracted to children people, and that is because of something that happened to them in their childhood, or even when they were older, in like adolescence. It could be because of the wiring in their brain, right? But they still say, I have a mental illness by being gay. Well, they're wrong. You don't That's categorically false. Okay, pedophilia is a mental illness, I believe. I mean, you can fact check me on that. Homosexuality is not. But I'm going off topic, sorry. No, that's okay. I mean, you're right. People do say homosexuality is a mental illness. They're just wrong, right? They're just, like factually, according to like research, right? It's not. It's not. But what if they use mental illness to get away with their perversion? Well, they don't. they don't like something could be a mental illness, right? But like you can say like, oh, I murdered this person because of my mental illness, right? That doesn't get you out of the consequences of that. You're still going to jail, right? And calling things what they are is not ever wrong to me. Okay, like even if it seems wrong, even if it seems bad, like I don't care. Okay, pedophiles are mentally ill. That's what pedophilia is. That's why they're attracted to children, right? Just because they're mentally ill. It's mental sickness.
With the same preference profile. So these are 3 different national government studies that connect the exact thing that I'm saying, and I still had all these losers on Twitter crashing out on me for identifying an obvious correlation. Every single person on Twitter was trying to dunk on me and saying that I was a fucking idiot for saying this when it's so fucking obvious. It is so obvious. Oh my god, damn, a lot of viewers are pedos. No, there's people like this who are just super loud. And I want to say that if you like lollies and you don't sexualize them, there's nothing wrong with you. There's no problem. I have no issue with that. It's not an issue at all. The problem is sexualizing characters that look like they're 8 years old, okay? I think that's really weird and it's creepy. But we can go back and forth. Here's my point. So I'm going to take a step back and we're going to talk about the main point. The main point right now.
So, what? No, Asmongold, lollies are sexualized. That is why it's a problem. Alright, it's not like, oh, if you like lollies, but like not in a sexual way, then it's okay. Like, no, there is none of that. Okay, it's just that there are different sexual motivations. Some people are not attracted to them because they look like real children. Some people are, they like the taboo of it, right? They like the art style, all right? They like the cartoon proportions. I remember watching Destiny a couple of years ago, and he was in a Discord party. Some guy said, and I quote, "What if we made AI children for pedos if they never touched a child ever? Would you agree to that?" But I think you know the answer. Yeah, it's Destiny. It's Destiny. Yeah, no shit. Destiny has no problem sexting underage people. All right, that's like confirmed. So,
is that critical thinking is bad. Critical thinking is bad because it leads you to conclusions that are, like, again, so African-American to commit a murder than an Asian.
Anyway, you look, I do want to say this as well. You can say that I'm, like, splitting hairs, right? You can say that I'm, like, getting all meticulous in this subject. And it's like, why are you doing that, J-Star? And it's very simple. It's because, number one, I'm just a fucking nerd, and I like to, you know, talk about things and like really define everything that we're talking about, and I don't like to mix things up, right? And then number two, this subject is about, you know, children being harmed by adults, and it's important, okay? And like I said earlier, the treatment of pedophiles versus non-pedophile lolly enjoyers is different. Okay, they all need psychiatric help, but the treatment for each person, I assume, would be different. Okay, if anybody disagrees with me, let me know in the comments.
All right, what are we talking about? I'm gonna explain.
All right, explain it.
10 to 20 times more likely. Here's my problem. My problem is that nobody on the internet.
Okay. All right. Now we're gonna talk about per capita. Dude, we're just parkouring. We're going from pedophilia to racism. What's going on, Asmongold? Why can't they ever have a topic without black people mentioned? Holy fucking Christ, LMAO. Like, didn't the the Christians say we're given free will, the most heinous crime ever committed? We're from whites. I'm not saying my people are saints, but goddamn, a dude literally killed mostly black people and ate them. Oh yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah. Well, you're forgetting he was gay. He was gay too. Okay, we don't claim him.
Yep.
All right.
Both of these things.
Sorry. Checkmate.
Nobody on the internet will go and say yes and yes.
Checkmate, donut.
They either say no and yes,
dumbass.
Or they say yes and no. That's what makes me fucking mad. That is why we live under Goyim tyranny. Absolute, complete Goyim tyranny. We've got to take away the right to vote immediately. It's a huge problem, and everybody can see it. Everybody can see it, but nobody wants to say it. That's because of lack of critical thinking? No. You're misunderstanding. You don't understand the problem. You don't understand it. The problem isn't that people can't critically think.
So I don't really know why Grok is saying this shit and not clarifying how fucking misleading this is, right? And I presume that other, like, more woke AI probably would or whatever. Because I know for a fact that fucking Elon Musk has made attempt after attempt to make Grok more racist, right? Like, he had, that is confirmed. That is a confirmed thing that Elon Musk has done. But anyway, even then, like, you just can't deny that arrest rates are not the same as crime rates, and equating the two is the only way that you can make this you can massage this narrative into working. All right, to say that black people do more murder. It's just not true. Because when we talk about arrest rates, we have to talk about over-policing. That's why they have to turn crime rates into, or that's why they have to turn arrest rates into crime rates, is to avoid the over-policing problem. If you live in a ghetto/trailer trash area, you're gonna commit murder, and just because you live in a gated community doesn't negate crime. Rich people just have money and some power to cover shit up. Well, that argument doesn't really work, Donut, and I'm not telling you this to say you're wrong. Okay, you are right about this. But that argument doesn't work because we're talking about arrest rates. Okay, so it's not just convictions, right? Yeah, rich people, they do, you could make the argument that rich people, they aren't over-policed like poor people are. But also, white people aren't over-policed like black people are. Like, white low-income neighborhoods or whatever. But the thing is, poor white people, they don't really live in the same area, right? Like black people do. Like, black people, they're low-income communities, okay? But with white people, they're more spread out, right? They live in rural areas. The closest they get to each other is like a trailer park. Okay, and so the police, they over-police the black communities. That's how it works. And, I'm black, bad areas lead to bad crimes. You know, I do somewhat agree with that, because poverty does, make people do some crimes, right? But it's not really all crimes across the board. Okay, rich people commit plenty of crimes and they don't get caught for it, right? But that's not because they aren't doing them. And that's not because they even pay off the police. It's because they don't have the police around them, investigating them all the time. Never been in trouble with the law. Am I just not a black man? Am I black-facing? Also, Asian Americans have the lowest crime. Asian countries still have awful men. LOL. Well, Donut, you know, I don't know your story. I don't know why you didn't commit crimes. I would guess that there was someone in your life keeping you on the right path. Because, fact of the matter is, everybody is susceptible to falling into a lifestyle of crime or like degeneracy, without proper guidance from an adult, from a trusted individual. And if that isn't the case, if you didn't have someone guiding you, then I think you're you're an anomaly, man. If you live, or if you and I did the exact same crime, you're gonna be, he's just a kid, while I'd be a thug that didn't have a father. I mean, I was scared of getting raped, pretty much, scared me. That pretty much scared me. Okay. Alright, it was fear. It's cause you watched that one prison show, whatever it was called, when you were a kid. I forgot what that show was called. I remember you showed it to me one time.
It's that they won't critically think, because by using and let's go even let's get even bigger. All right, let's go even bigger. Religion is the reason.
Oh yeah,
if you have you see somebody die, we don't see any fucking heaven. We don't see any fucking angels. There's no burning bushes. I've never seen the waters of the ocean get parted or the sea get parted. I've never went and seen God inscribe something on a fucking tug. I've never seen a guy fly to the moon on a winged horse. I've never seen a dude live in a fish for 3 days. I haven't seen any of these things. So the fact is, again, and we don't know any of this, right? There is no logical conclusion that leads anybody to have any idea that there is any form of an afterlife. This is a complete and absolute fantasy. It is, and we've invented this fantasy. I hope it's true. I pray every night. But you know what? I'm just a hyper-intelligent fucking monkey. I am a hyper-intelligent monkey trying desperately to understand a universe that is so profoundly complicated. I have less chance of understanding the universe than a termite has of understanding a computer. That's the reason why. But I at least recognize it, okay? So, oh, no, we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. So people invent all of these fantasies. They invent all of these universes so they can avoid and not have to come to terms with what their logical and critical mind concludes. They're terrified of what the truth is. They're terrified of what their critical thinking leads them to be. And also, this is the other big thing, is that you have, and I'm sorry, this is it. You didn't say, well, what is this, your monkey with the gay shirt? Yes. And you said you didn't want to get distracted? I'm distracted. I'm distracted right now. Okay? That's the way it is. So anyway, the reason why nobody wants to critically think is because of J.K. Rowling. The reason why nobody wants to critically think...
Did you know that white men are significantly more likely to do a mass shooting? Did you know that, Asmon Gold? Yo, we should start investigating all the white men to make sure they aren't about to do a mass shooting. That's what I think. It just irks me because we can categorize race with crime, but not the fact that men are just awful. LOL, black men, white men, Asian men. We're a shitty gender. No, we're not, man. Come on. Come on now. We need to work on we need to get you more woke, bro. We need to wokeify you. We're not. Don't be biased. I'm not biased. I'm highly critical of men. I think that the way we raise men in this society is bad. I think that might be an understatement. Where is your blue-haired liberal? Yeah, I am not woke. All right, well, I am woke, so let me wokeify you, okay? Men aren't bad across the board. They're kind of bad in our society because of the way we raise them. Okay, men are raised to be quiet and non-emotional, right? Men are taught to not hide their emotions, but then when we do show our emotions, we are punished for it. I have some conservative views. I am from Texas, LOL. Yeah, I get that. Kind of. So women are the ones that caused the Holocaust, genocide, slaves, mass shootings. Do you think that women contributed nothing to those things? Really? Is that what you think? Women play a more passive role because that is what men created for them. Yeah. You know, men are... I'm not saying, like, men aren't oppressors. Men are... That's not what I'm saying, man. I'm saying that we raise men to be a certain way, and we raise women to be a certain way, and men and women in combination, do make society. We make society. Like, women are just playing a more passive role because that is what is subjugated, right? That is what is pushed on them. Okay, men have different forces pushed on them. We have different roles assigned to us. They were women. Of course, they were gonna say yes. Women in the 1800s didn't really have that kind of power to say, "Hey, that's evil." Yeah, I understand. No individual has the power to stand up to a collective. Right? Every human in society is playing a role. Okay, we are all trying to play our roles the best we can. because that's what we're taught, okay? And that's not like a bad thing, innately, right? That whole process of like everybody playing a role, right? But the problem is that the way we raise men is bad. The way we raise women is bad, but slightly less problematic. Maybe. Actually, I don't even know if that's true. How come white men can label people of color, gender, sexual orientation, but when it comes to white men, white, then it's bullshit? What? I mean, I think I understand what you mean by that, and it's because white supremacy. Okay, when black people do something bad, that's all black people. Okay, when white people do something bad, it's just a few bad apples. All right, like I completely agree with that. It's bullshit. And I want to change that. You know, I don't like white supremacy. White supremacy harms me. It harms everyone. It harms white people. Some white people are, but most people are just apathetic, right? They just try to pretend it doesn't exist, and that's because the game changed. Okay, but that's a different story. Okay, most people are apathetic. They don't care. Okay, some people are actually like, yeah, white supremacy is real and it's awesome and I love it because I'm white, okay, without realizing that they're probably white trash, right? They're probably poor white people. So it harms them more than the average person, you know? How come white men get... Oh, I already read that. My bad. All right, let's keep going.
Because of Nick Merckx. The reason why nobody wants to critically think is because...
In order to make a country successful, we have to resort to evil things. Not true. I disagree with that. I hate it, but it's true. Yeah, not true. Clearly the man above can't do it. All these so-called Christians are fake. They use it to control people, aka churches. You can't convince me that churches are a... You can't convince me that churches are a scam that preys on the uneducated and poor. Well, you know, look, I don't like church either. Not true. So America was just founded on our great-great-great-grandparents and praying. No, I don't think America had to be evil to be successful, right? You're making... I'm not saying that America wasn't evil, and I'm not saying that it isn't successful. I'm just saying that the conditions which made us so affluent weren't from evil shit. Okay, it was from not evil shit, actually. That's what made us so successful. Like, when you think of the golden age of America, you probably think of, you know, and I understand you're a person of color, right? So the golden age of America wasn't really that golden for your people, you know? But when I say the golden age, I mean like when the average American, the average white American, was most affluent, right? Was like living pretty good, pretty comfortably. That wasn't because of fucking evil shit. That was because of FDR and his alphabet soup. And you know, I don't mean to trivialize or like or like downplay what black people went through in this country, but it also benefited them. The same institutions that FDR created, which made white people so wealthy in the late 40s and 50s, starting around there, it also benefited black people as well. We can't have civilization without colonizing. Not true. Stealing resources and owning enslaved people. Also not true. Even if black people didn't exist, we still caused a genocide. This country was built by enslaved people and minorities. Once the country became a success, we wanted them out. Yeah, so I agree, right, that enslaved people did build this country. I just don't think that it was necessary, okay? The question that what you were stating earlier is that it was necessary for us to become successful. I disagree with that premise. And historians also agree with me. I don't get how you can say not true based off what history has taught us. History has taught us that cooperation between humans is what makes communities most successful. Okay? Countries, nations. Cooperation. Not coercion, not enslavement. Enslavement is actually counterintuitive. But due to the conditions of the early colonies and the Americas, we were set up by the bountiful resources around us to dominate the rest of the world. The whole chattel slavery system wasn't as necessary as people back then thought. And, you know, average people today, like, I think a lot of people share your idea, your sentiment. Like, slavery was evil, but it was necessary, you know, yada yada. No, it just wasn't. You would not look the way you did if you were out in the fields slaving away. The way you do, I said that as if you're dead. Yeah, I mean, sure. Alright, I don't really know how that is, like, you know, keep in mind, when my people, okay, Scottish people, came across the ocean, they were highly exploited, okay, and they were, you know, they weren't considered white, they were, an immigrant underclass, okay, that's the way it was. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, woe is me. I'm just saying, like, maybe, like, the whole idea about whiteness and what it is and what it means to be white that has been ingrained in you isn't as concrete as it seems, because whiteness is bullshit. And it only serves white supremacy, the white supremacist system.
Right, of Warren Brown on YouTube. The reason why nobody wants to critically think is because of, let me think, I don't know, somebody like me even, right? Like, in a lot of ways, I'm a leftist. I am. Like, I believe in gay marriage. I think trans people are okay. I want universal basic income. I think we should have universal health care. But because I don't agree with having open borders, and because I don't agree with having trans kids, I'm a Nazi. Yeah, okay. I don't think so. So, again, like, in a lot of ways, I am. Like, I think I'm a socialist in a lot of ways. I think this is a better way of running things. Like, I am a 60% capitalist, 40% socialist kind of guy. That's the way that I see things. And I know that some people might not like that. I don't want to debate that. My point is that you have people like J.K. Rowling, for example, that was the most insufferable feminist bitch for years. Oh my God, she was so annoying.
By the way, he's literally just hitting the Weimar, the Weimar liberal shit. Right, before the Nazis took over. That's what he's saying here.
She said that men shouldn't go in the women's restroom.
It's crazy, man.
And you know what happened? Now J.K. Rowling is on my side. You know why? Because she committed the gravest sin of all. She applied critical thinking. That's the reason. Nobody wants to be the person
a bunch of transphobic
that thinks for
shit.
Themselves, because sometimes thinking with yourself takes you away from the group. And people are terrified to go away from the group. And that's the reason why. Look at Elon. Elon's another great example. Elon, everybody used to love Elon, right? They thought Elon was the greatest person ever. Then Elon said that, well, actually, I don't think that, you know, you can change your gender. And he said pronouns were stupid. Do you remember whenever
I just think religion is a scam, not trying to insult your religion because you're a Christian. I just think you're pretty smart to know we exploit the poor and uneducated. I believe in a higher power, but I don't believe that God said this. Okay. All right, well... you know, being a Christian isn't really about, like, God said this, God said that. I mean, that's part of it, sure. But the main focus is on Jesus Christ. Jeebus Christ. And Jesus was constantly articulating points in a very interesting and subversive way at the time and even today. Okay, he was criticizing the Roman hierarchy, the Roman system, but he didn't, like, spell it out so plainly for people. He talked in parables, right? He asked rhetorical questions, right? That's how he got his point across. The little that was written down about things that he said verbatim is quite interesting. But anyway, you know, it's not that religion is a scam, it's that religion can be a scam. Okay, you're right about that. What is so special about Jesus? He wasn't the first one. It depends what you mean by the first one. Wouldn't the first couple be the special ones? It's just weird the more you try to understand religion. Jesus was just a guy, right? He was a human. And Christians just so happen to believe he was God in human form, right? Jesus was a guy that talked about power. He talked about the hierarchy at the time, 2,000 years ago. And it looked a lot different from the capital mode of production that we live under today. But the things he said were interesting, and they can be applied. So even though you're not a Christian, I encourage you to like look into some of Jesus's best moments, okay? Some of his most epic lines, okay? My favorite one is "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's." Okay, that's my favorite line. All right, go look into that one. It's fucking awesome. Okay, and like read about all the context around it. Like at least start a few verses before, because you need some context to know who he was talking to and whatnot. Jesus seems to outshine Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were just like the original humans that sinned. I mean, they didn't really say anything profound, right? Like I can't remember much about what they fucking said. Doesn't make any sense. How is Jesus any different from MLK or Anne Frank? Well, technically he's very different from those two people, but the comparison is like fair, you know, and they are similar in many ways. Yeah. All three of these people had thoughts about the system that they lived under that was oppressing their people, and they like they criticized it. They talked about their lives, their personal lives, and their journey and what it meant. No man being black Christian is weird, and I even said that to my family. It makes no sense. If you and I were born in the 1900s, you would probably be my slave master, or called me the N-word. LOL. Yeah, I mean, we could play that game. We could play like what kind of slave owner would you be? Yeah, I feel like I'd be a really chill slave owner. I'd be like really chill. I'd be like, yo, let's like drink some sarsaparilla together. And that's more country than drinking sarsaparilla out of a 10-gallon hat, you idiot. It's not a game, LMAO, if you were my friend. Well, it is. Like, it is a game. What do you mean? Like, I'm not trying to trivialize chattel slavery, okay? Chattel slavery was terrible and real and evil, and the repercussions are still felt today, regardless of what conservatives say. But, like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna try and be like, oh, like, anyway, if you were my friend, you would probably be killed, or in lover, LMAO. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Most likely. It depends where we're at. But anyway, there was something I wanted to say. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, being a black Christian is weird. I don't really agree with that. It's not weird. Like it's actually quite normal. Like it is common. You know, Christianity is not about owning black people. So yes, scripture was used to justify chattel slavery. It was fucking stupid. It was really dumb. And you know, most black people understandably don't see it that way. They don't see Christianity that way.
Pronouns was stupid, and this is like some massive fucking
pronouns.
Oh my god, how could you say that pronouns were dumb? So this is it, and we're going left field really hard here, to be honest. I'm telling you, right? Groupthink is the worst. So that's why nobody critically thinks. That is the exact reason why. It's because they're afraid of going against the groupthink. The groupthink is what matters more than anything else. So that's really it. Anyway, so this is, and I had to put these.
It is weird, LOL. Our ancestors weren't exactly sitting in paradise. It's dumb to give our hard-earned money to scammers. Have you watched The Boys, LOL? Yeah, man. I have seen The Boys. The first season was alright. But anyway, you do understand that, like, when black people give their money at their church, at their black church, where it's in their community, you know, a mostly black community, the money isn't going to Whitey, right? It's going back to the community. That's what churches are. That's what they do with the money. Now, if you were to tell me, like, oh, well, what does that money really go toward? Does it really, like, fix people's lives? Does it, like, do that? I would tell you, no. Okay, because the charity of nice people, of kind people, is not enough to end homelessness. It's not enough to fix, to end food insecurity, right? To make people not go hungry. It just isn't. Okay, you need institutions to do that. You need systems to collect and distribute resources. Okay, which our government has failed to do time and time again. For black people especially, but for white people as well. And I want to end that, okay? I don't think that churches are like the solution to all of society's problems, but I don't think that they're bad. I don't think that they're bad. Okay, well, I do think that, sorry, let me restate. I do think that they're bad in different ways, but the community outreach that churches do, that they engage in, is a good thing, right? Like, I like that. Okay, are there churches that, like, the pastor drives a fucking Lincoln or whatever, and they got, like, got a lot of money? Like, yeah, and that sucks. But anyway, why do I need to wake up on a weekend bright and beaming when it's not even 9 a.m. on my off day, sit in the hot house listening to people, they're singing, drinking wine when it's cranberry juice, give money when my family could read a verse at home? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And, you know, look, man, I agree with you more than you could ever know about this shit. Okay, because I don't like church either. I think churches today are ruled by psychopaths. I think that they have moved up in the church hierarchy, and they're mostly at the top. I think that our congregations are filled with psychopaths that are generated artificially by the society we live in, from the way that we raise people. Okay, that's just the way I see it. Okay, it's not that church itself is bad, it's the communities inside of them that are rotten because of the psychos. Anyway, church in the Bible isn't like this requirement, right? Like some people make it out to be, some Christians make it out to be. It's supposed to be heaven on earth. That's what church is. Humans are instructed to build church by God. We build them. It's heaven on earth, okay? And, you know, unfortunately, churches can be rotten. They can be exploited. And it's a sad thing. But it does happen. And Jesus talked about it quite routinely, actually. He criticized churches all the time. And he encouraged people to scrutinize church. So, anyway.
Out, right? I did.
Let's keep going.
And so anyway, no, this is really funny for me to see. It is very, very fucking funny. And I don't know really why people don't understand that, but I mean, really, it's just frustrating to me to deal with. It is. And you know, I just keep talking about this stuff. The reason I keep talking about it is because I'm worried that if I don't talk about it, nobody will talk about it. Nobody will say it because they're so audience captured that they're unwilling to see any form of second level. It's all manufactured outrage. Yeah, it makes me so mad. It does. And I'm sorry.
Nobody's going to be racist with me.
Nick Merckx said that he didn't want to have gay shit inside of elementary schools. And the
oh yeah, but sorry, I forgot to conclude what I was saying. You know, that being said, you can just read a verse at home. Like you can do that. Like there is no commandment. Thou shalt wake up at 9 a.m. and go to church on Sunday. Like that's just, you know, that ain't it. I had fun chatting. Damn, time flies. Didn't even play my daily games. My daily game of Where the Winds Meet. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm going to play Minecraft after this. It was nice talking to you.
Call of Duty canceled his partnership. You know, he was attacked by literally everybody on the internet that's part of that side of the internet. And just in general, everybody turned against him and called him a Nazi and an evil person. All of that over that one thing. You're mostly right. A lot of people argue on both things for Grok. That's it. You're 100% right. People don't look for truth.
No, that's a good thing.
And so that's the reason. So my whole point is that is the reason why women do this. Is because however likely you think a guy is to do this, women are multitudes, magnitudes more likely to do it as well.
You can always talk to me, man.
It's true. So yeah. Any questions? Any questions? They're trying to the anime orb on Netflix.
Any questions? Any questions about the racism?
Thoughts on data centers and tech companies doing everything they can to build more and expand? No, I don't. I think
I'm not the most articulate debater. I have to accept that. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're just not a fucking nerd. Okay, you're just not. And that's okay, right? Being a good debater is not virtuous. Okay? It just isn't. Right? Like, I much prefer being agreeable with others, and I do my best to be an agreeable person. But this is Twitch, you know, I am a political commentator, therefore I be in debate mode, you know? I mean, I am black, and before you say something, stop. All right, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I mean, you are black, you know, I know that.
A lot of the, I think there's so much, propaganda around data centers that I haven't really come to a conclusion on whether they're good or bad, because all the people that I think are retarded think that
I could click on every Just Chatting with Politics, and they are 80% white males, women, and LGBT. Interesting. Hardly any blacks, huh? Why do you think that is?
Centers are bad, so I usually assume that if all of those people think that, then they're probably not that bad, but I also don't know that either, so I'd have to look into it and educate myself. I'm just not educated in the topic, if you want me to be honest. So I don't have a hot take, sorry. I'm a woman that's smarter than you. I'm glad, you know, I wish you'd tell the other women what to fucking think. You wish you'd tell them to listen to me. Yeah, okay, great, so you're smart, awesome. You need to go convince the other ones to listen to me. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you, I don't give a shit. Like, why would I even think about this? Think about this, okay? Yeah, so, okay, and crazy woman, yeah, what do you think this is gonna, like, offend me? I'm gonna get, like, defensive or something? I don't even know who you are. So, anyway, you're saying these people can critically think, and, man, if there was no current agenda or religion, would they just find another myth to believe in that justifies them being stupid or lazy? Yes. Yes, they would simply replace one fantasy for another. That's correct. That is absolutely correct. 100%. Why do people say critical thinking instead of thinking? Well, I don't know. And I think you get mad at that, shows you isn't smarter, maybe, I don't know. Do you think the left is more afraid of themselves than the right? I think that they are, but they're both. And yeah, I think that there's both there. There's some really interesting studies by an independent guy on YouTube on ultrasound and how it affects humans around data centers. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I mean, you have like cells, and those cells are going to do things if you fuck around with them. So I think it makes sense. Anyway, so we'll go back to this. Okay, so by the way, that was like a 30-minute fucking crash out tangent. I'm sorry, but I just can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about the absolute.
I can't stop thinking about how black people be evil, committing crimes.
To my heritage and to my culture.
Oh, Donut said it could be because they either don't have the IQ. Not saying they're dumb or they just don't care. Alright, I mean, IQ doesn't have much to do with it, in my opinion. But anyway, I think that the reason that black people don't, they don't do political commentary is because nobody listens to them about political commentary. Like, no, you know, nobody does. Okay, I'm sorry, but like, other than woke-tards, okay, like you got FD Signifier, right? I love FD Signifier. I watch him, but I mean, look at Kai Cenat guy. He's like the top 10 most subs and acts like a buffoon to attract the whites. That and I Show Speed. So both of those people, I think, are a lot more intelligent than you're giving them credit for, especially I Show Speed. But Kai Cenat is a pretty intelligent guy. He's a very talented entertainer. Okay, he like I know he doesn't stream that much anymore, but he like used to come up with these elaborate streams, right? He's very creative. And it's not just that he's creative, like the way he went about executing these ideas on stream, it took a lot of like thought and intelligence, okay? It did. Oh, I'm not saying that they're dumb, but they do act ghetto to attract people. I guess. I don't even understand what the fucking word means anymore, dog. Like, people just throw the word ghetto around so much. And maybe not as much anymore, but like, I got desensitized to it, and like, white people are ghetto, black people are ghetto. Ghetto is just being ratchet, I guess, but like, I don't know, it's like different. In some ways, whatever. A white man telling me about black people. Yeah, you're on the J-Star broadcast, bro. I'm mansplaining. I'm white mansplaining to you. I'm white-splaining. I'm mansplaining. That's what we do here on J-Star. I Show Speed literally lit up fireworks in his house and then act shocked by the outcome. LMAO. All right. Look, Speed. Maybe I went a little far when I said Speed was intelligent. Okay, but like he has emotional intelligence, right? He can read people. He has empathy. Okay, he's like it comes naturally to him, or it's the way he was raised, you know. But like Speed, he has a different kind of intelligence. Okay, cause and effect. Maybe he struggles with that a little bit, but like, come on, the man, and he's multicultural too. He's been to China. All right, that shit was awesome. He's been to a load of different countries.
That we allow people who are subhuman to vote. I find it to be so. This is like I'm being oppressed by them. I'm being oppressed. I'm actually so mad.
Yeah, dude. The homeless people on the street are swinging elections with their immense political power. That's what they're doing.
I think about it every day. Whenever I see somebody stupid and I think about the fact that they have a voice in society, it makes me furious. It makes me so mad. 30-minute tangent wasn't dry. I hope so. Do you think we'll have restrictions on voter restrictions on my lifetime? I hope so. If there's a way to help it happen, it'll be by me. So yes, I agree with you, dude. I know. You sound like Plato saying subhuman. I can't say it too much with too many different people because then it'll be like a thing. But like
you say it all the time, man, and you use like even more dehumanizing language than just that. Okay, like actually calling people subhumans is technically less dehumanizing than calling them animals, right? But he calls these people animals.